Alright, what's good YouTube? Today we are just gonna rank some stuff. Basically awakenings, Keshins, mix and match, stuff like this. This is gonna be a pre-DLC tier list. The DLC was supposed to be dropping today, but they didn't, so now I'm salty and we're just gonna do a tier list, right? We got a few tiers. We got Broken, S, A, B, and Mark, stay the hell out of the goal. Sorry, in the goal, not out of the goal. Please, Mark, stay in the goal. If you've played Chronicle mode, you know what I mean. So, let's talk about it. So we're just gonna start with Keshins, right? Keshins in general. Like, before we start with the specific abilities, Keshins in general are really strong. Why? Because they're just giving you a really strong buff in general. They give you 40% attack and defense, plus, of course, like a Keshin move, right, that you're getting. So, that's the baseline. And then on top of that, they have abilities as well. So, a lot of Keshins are just broken because of those facts, right? They give you stats to your player, they give you passives, and they give you a move, right? So, that's like the best of the best, basically. So, let's talk about it. We'll actually go from bottom to the top. So, keepers. Keepers should never run a Keshin. It is cool as hell to run a Keshin on a keeper, but it is as useless as it is cool, right? Why? So, if we take a look at this Keshin, right? This one is giving me 5% save rate. Yeah. This would be good if I was getting like 10% KP, but I'm not. The only thing that matters for a keeper is KP, right? I don't need attack, I don't need defense, I don't need focus battle, I don't need anything. The only thing I need is KP, and this thing is not providing anything. Yeah, so a Keshin for a keeper does not provide anything. Why? I'm getting an attack and defense boost by 40%, doesn't matter for a keeper. I only need keeper's grid, which we're going to talk about later, which is way better, right? So a goalkeeper Keshin is always going to be bad, at least in my opinion. If you armify it, is a bit different, because if you armify it, you're getting a I think 50-ish% boost to your Hisatsu, right? So your technique is getting boosted by roughly 50%, which makes it usable, right? But again, still not as strong as Keeper's Grid, which we're going to talk about later. Okay, let's go from a goalkeeper to a defender. I would say a defender, having a Keshin on a defender is not that good. Why? So let's say, so in this case, right? I'm getting a castle wall attack and defense, sorry, a defense buff on a castle wall by 10%. Fine boost, right? 10% is not bad, it's not great, but it's not bad. The problem, right, if you think about it, let's say I am in a focus battle and my goalie has a Keshin. Okay, I'm gonna activate the Keshin, I'm gonna win my focus battle, right? What happens then? I'm here, I pass the ball to him, he's gonna be in a focus battle, he's gonna win this, I'm passing the ball to him, then I'm gonna shoot with him, shoot to him, shoot to her, shoot into the goal, right? That's gonna take like 20-30 seconds, right? Until then, a Keshin is only lasting 30 seconds. Until then, like, the Keshin is gone, right? So this caster wall is useless. If, let's say, we have something like this, this thing is boosting, like, it's just a general team boost, right? It's giving me 10% attack and defense for players at a different position. So let's say, just in theory, I have this on my goalie. Now I'm supporting the whole team, except, of course, my defenders. I'm gonna support all of these 6 characters if I were to have it equipped. So this one, I would argue, is actually better for defenders than this one, because this one I'm not getting any boost from. Like, at least if you're not losing the ball, which you shouldn't, right? Okay. Entertainer, I would say pretty good for a midfielder. First of all, it has a midfielder move. Second of all, this thing on a midfielder is pretty good, right? It's buffing your strikers, so all 3 up here are gonna get buffed, as well as my defenders, right? So this is also giving me a defensive boost. This is for both, right? Really good. Only in focus battles, but I would say that's still good, because you need to perform focus battles to gain tension to win the game, right? You need that, right? Yeah, so midfielders, I would say, make a lot more sense to have Keshins. I would say goalkeepers and defenders are pretty bad. Yeah. So Let's talk about a striker Keshin. So, for example, this one. As a striker, you can have a Keshin. For example, I gave my beta, or like she still has it, she has Athena, right? So what I did, I gave her 2 shots, 1 dribbling move just in case, and 1 Keshin. So now I have a 3rd shot, and they are all pretty strong, right? If I have something like this, for example, this is gonna boost my team's shot attack, right? So that means of a different element. Let's say my beta would have it. That means all of these 4 are getting a 10% shot attack like buff. Meanwhile, I'm getting my own 40% attack and defense buff from the Keshin, right? So it's actually really good. I can support the team while also giving me a buff, while also having a shot that I can perform that is really strong. Okay, so yeah, really good. It's not broken. What is broken though is this thing. This guy, this Archpegasus, I swear to God, it is so unbelievably strong. Listen, so attack and defense plus 40 when you summon a Keshin. Another 20% attack and defense in focus battles. Why is this so strong? So let's take a look at my team, right? If I take a look at these stats, right? Important stats to look at. First of all, I'm getting 41% plus attack and defense when I'm in a focus battle. On top of the 40% I'm getting just normally from summoning a Keshin. On top of the 20% I'm getting boosted in my, like this one is basically plus 20, right? Plus the 40 I'm getting with my Keshin summon. Plus I'm still getting 44% until I foul. So as you can imagine, if you stack these buffs up, like on top of each other, it's gonna be broken as hell, right? You can just farm tension so easily. There should not be a time where you lose with that spirit. There's no way in hell you're gonna lose an offensive or defensive focus battle. There's no way. You won't, right? Because it's so strong. So this one is, it's like broken. S. What is a fraud though? Is this guy. Holy shit. This passive is so bad. I think Scramble is the worst, like it's not an archetype, but like the worst passive you can have. Why would you pass? So why would I use this one? Like, let's say I have the choice, right? Why would I use this one over something like this or like this? This one is buffing my team, this one is buffing my team, this one is making me cracked out even more in my focus battles. Why would I use this? Why would I want to pass the ball? You know, it doesn't make sense. Why would I want to pass the ball? Because like, think about it. You wanna, like, for example, for my team build, right? And I'm aware that like different team builds, but I think this is one of the strongest, right? I have Justice plus Tension, right? I'm getting all these buffs. I want to be in a focus battle. I want to have tension so that this guy can use a move, that this guy can use a move, that all of these people can use a move, right? That my goalkeeper can use a move, right? I need tension, right? So why would I pass the ball? I would say that's a fraud. That's the biggest fraud I've ever seen. Yeah, this one's also a fraud. I must say it, I think Breach is shit. I think Breach is shit. Okay, it's not shit, it's just why why would I run Breach? So like, if we take a look at like the meta, why would I run Breach? If I breach, even if I score a goal, bro, I have no tension. I have 0 tension. So what my opponent is gonna do, if he's good, let's say they have a cracked hero striker, let's say, I don't know, an Axel like this guy, he's gonna pass the ball to him. He's gonna win the focus battle here. He's gonna win the focus battle here. He's gonna win the focus battle here. Why? Because I have 0 tension. Meanwhile, I'm getting 90 tension. Meanwhile, he's getting, or like in my case, I would be getting 90 tension for 1 focus battle because I'm getting more tension, right? So now I have a huge, massive tension advantage, right? And let's say this guy isn't a Paolo, right? Let's say this guy is a Frost or like a Beta. Like, this Mark is gonna concede a goal. Trust me, this Mark is gonna concede a goal. So yeah, even if you breach, you had a huge disadvantage, right? Like, you can be countered and then you're left with nothing, right? So I don't think breach is that good. On top of that, if we just take a look at like all these other things, like again, if I foul, like until I foul, I get a 44% attack and defense buff. That's insane, right? That's also buffing my shot power, but also my defensive stuff, right? My castle walls and stuff. I think my castle walls, I'm not sure, but Really, really good. So I would say that's like on Fraud Watch as well. Yeah. Team Dash fall rate, if you're going for a tension, sorry, not tension, a justice build, with, let's say, a rough play build, right? So you have both, you can actually do something decent with it. Until, like, other than that, I would say it's like, it's very niche, very, very niche. I would say it's B, yeah. When winning a focus battle or scramble, I would say this one is good. You get 10% tension, pretty good. I wouldn't say it's crazy. I would say it's if you actually build a team around tension, I would say it's actually really strong. Team bond power A. Team bond power, how it works, if you don't know, you're getting a buff until like once you reach, I think, a certain threshold, I think like 20% or something, or could also be at 10%, but you're basically getting a buff to your shot, right? So the last shot you're doing, I think, is getting a buff depending on how much team bond power you have. So if you have 30, you're getting a better boost than when you have like 20. So yeah, really, really good. Not the craziest. I don't think bond power is that strong, at least in my opinion. I haven't tried it myself yet too much, right? At least in my opinion. Right? All right. This was the Keshins. Let's move on to, I would say, Awakenings. I'm going to say it now. Everything here except bond transformation is going into S tier. Sorry, broken tier. Everything here is broken as hell. Let's talk about it. So let's start off with Keeper's Grid. This one is the only thing you need to run on any goalkeeper, right? So I have it on my mark. He doesn't have beans yet. I could give him some, but basically, if he were to have beans, he has like 5k, 6k tension, sorry, not tension, KP easily, plus he's getting 20% from Keeper's Grid, right? So Keeper's Grid is giving you an attack and defense buff, which is useless pretty much for a keeper, but they are also giving you a KP buff, so really good. 20% KP, so that means, let's say I have 5k, probably gonna be 6.5, whatever, 7k after Keeper's Grid, so really, really good. You basically need that, otherwise you can't, you're basically gonna concede like crazy. And you don't want that. So, by the way, all of these 5, they last for, I think, 30 seconds. So, really good, just as Keshins do. So, really good. Guardian. So, I talked about it before a bit with the defenders. I don't want to use a Keshin on a defender. I mean, I can, but an Ironclad Guardian is so much better. Why? It's going to boost your attack by 30, which is fine. It's going to boost your defense by 50, so more than a Keshin does. But also, it's going to boost your castle wall. So basically, I'm having this effect that Brunhild has. Plus, I'm not done. You're getting a speed boost, and you're faster than Sonic. I swear to God, you're Usain Bolt in his prime. This speed buff is so monumental on a defender. Like, imagine, like, they are... Okay, so imagine they get the ball like here, and now they are here, right? If I use Ironclad with like a Ricardo or like a goalie, bro, I'm catching up to anyone, except if they're already in the zone, then you're kind of cooked. But I'm catching up to anyone that I want to, right? I'm also winning that focus battle. Like, trust me, when I have Ironclad Guardian, I'm gonna win this focus battle no matter what, right? So let's say I'm goalie, right? I have my Ironclad Guardian. I win the focus battle. I can dribble, and I can actually choose who I'm gonna have the focus battle with. So let's say I see, hey, they have a Fae or like an Arc, whatever. I'm gonna run up to this Arc. I know I have type advantage. I know I'm gonna win this focus battle because I'm also getting 30% attack. You know, these things just stack and stack and stack. Like, it's good. It's really good. It's really good. It's not only defensively good, it's also offensively good, right? What the fuck am I doing? Where's my list? There we go. So yeah, really good. Elemental Catalyst. So Elemental Catalyst gives you attack and defense plus 30 plus a 20% focus battle value. So you're getting basically what Archpegasus gives you, but on top of that, you are getting, of course, the speed boost, but also doubling your type advantage. So that means this one is really strong for a Bellatrix, a Beta, an offensive midfielder. Even she would be benefiting from that one. That is, I would say, Wind. Wind is like the go-to typing. If we take a look, like, what is the most used goalkeeper in the game? It's probably Mark. It's probably Mark. Helio is also used. Jean-Pierre is also used. Like, any ground goalkeeper is basically used a lot. So if you have an elemental catalyst, it's gonna double your elemental advantage. So if I'm on beta and I'm using my Inazuma break, bro, and they have a Mark in goal, bro, he's not catching that. Like, he is not catching that, and I don't need to pass around. Like, I don't need to use Inazuma break and shoot to Paolo and shoot back. I don't need to do that. I just pop it, and I have cracked stats, and I have a stronger, basically shot, because I'm getting the type advantage boost. So it's I would say the most broken if you have type advantage. If you don't have type advantage, I would say it's still SS because of the speed boost and like the general boosts, but not as broken as the other things. Really situational. So instant burst. Instant burst is giving you 30% attack and defense, 35% focus value, so that's really good, plus a 30% special move down. Who is this good for? This one is good for somebody like a Bellatrix. So as you can see, I have 2 drill moves. I have one shot move. The same thing goes for him, right? I have 2 shot moves, 1 dribble move. This one, like the cooldown reduction, is actually something that you want. It's good. 30% is good. That means I can just spam my moves even more. So let's say I have a cracked out Paolo with, like, he doesn't have equipment, but like, let's say he has equipment and stuff like this. He can spam his powerful moves with his broken stats, and I can just do it 30% faster, right? So that's really beneficial. Instant burst, I would say, is really, really good. On top of that, of course, the speed bonus and stuff like this is really good. For midfielders, like offensive midfielders and sometimes strikers, I would say really good. Burning Overdrive, last one, and then we're gonna move on to mix and match. Burning Overdrive is what it does is basically it gives you pretty much the same things that you had before. So like 30% attack and defense, 20% focus value. That's the same thing as Elemental Catalyst, right? With Elemental Catalyst, you're getting a type advantage buff. With Burning Overdrive, and that's why it's so good for strikers, you're getting a 20% shot attack bonus. That means this 20% is not only going to be a 20%, like on its own, it's going to be boosted by this one. It's going to be boosted by just other things that you have. So let's say I have this beta right here. She's getting 14% when I'm doing it correctly, like 14% buff, plus like all the other buffs I'm getting. Let's say I have like this, like mode active, I'm getting another 30% attack and defense. I'm getting until I foul for, you know, like these things stack. They stack, and then I just fire off a nuclear missile, because this 20% is after everything else, right? So there's a separate multiplier. That means this shit is gonna hit crazy hard. That's why like a Hero Axle is hitting so hard, because that shit is insanely strong for strikers. Yeah. So for the Awakenings, let's recap. Elemental Catalyst, I would say for win players, really, really good. Keeper's Grid, for keepers, of course, really good. Burning Overdrive for strikers, Instant Burst for offensive midfielders and strikers, and Iron Guardian for defensive units. All right. We got one more part, or like one more category. Before we do that, let's actually talk about Armorified. Armorified is actually decent. What Armorified does, so let's say I have a JP, right? Armorified gives me, of course, a cool looking armor, but it's also giving me a, I think 40 to 60-ish% boost on my move, right? So my JP is actually benefiting from this. Do I think it's better than Keeper's Grid? No, hell no, right? Keeper's Grid is still better, but it could be an option, right? It could also be an option for beta. Why? Because it's not only giving me the boost on my shots and my abilities in general, it's also gonna give me 20% attack and defense. So it's actually not that bad. In this case, I want to have it though, because I only have 2 shots. So with the Fighting Spirit, with the Keshin, I have 3 shots. If I were to have one more shot on like beta, I would say, hey, I can go for a Armorified, because then I get the benefit from it, right? But yeah, Armorified pretty good. I would say it's like an S tier. I wouldn't say it's as broken as like Keshin's, because the Keshin buff is just better. but it's still good. Okay, let's talk about mix and match. So we got 4 mix and match here. We got 1 for each basically role. So goalkeepers, this shit is ass. So a mix and match is gonna last you for 20 seconds. A Keshin is 30, right? It's gonna give you a 10% more like higher buff than it gives than a Keshin gives. Bro, I choked. What the fuck? So it's giving you 50% attack and defense plus a bonus move. Yeah, it's just a bit stronger than a Keshin, but it's just not lasting as long. 20% is nothing. That shit is going down so easily and so fast. It's actually insane. As for goalkeepers, it's useless. Again, we want KP. If we don't get KP, it's not that strong, right? It doesn't benefit my goalkeeper in any way. Yeah, so that's something I don't need. Let's go for defenders. Defenders, I would say it's actually A. Yeah, why is it A? If you think about it, my goalie, right? I'm gonna win the tension battle that I'm in when I'm popping this. So now I have 20 seconds. With these 20 seconds, I can go forward, I can go into a focus battle, and I can win that focus battle because I'm getting the 50% on attack as well, right? So my focus battles in general are going to be stronger. And also, let's say I have Doremi, just don't ask why I have that. I have Doremi on her, and I can shoot that, I get a small boost on my shooting stat, and I can shoot that and stuff like this. So I'm getting a better benefit from it than, like, let's say more benefit from it than, let's say, a Keshin, right? So I would say it's actually not that bad. Okay, let's go with those two. So this one is striker. It's going to be in broken. 50% attack and defense plus a signature move. It's insane. You're going to hit so hard. Sometimes, like, I have a Bailong. This guy is hitting so hard with beans and with everything. You don't even need support. Like, let's say you have a Bailong in the striker position. If you have good substats, so let's say, oh wait, here is, right? As an example, right? This one is a different one. Basically 7% shot, so 8%, plus like the beans, plus like every other buff. Bro, this guy with his mix and match is hitting like a nuclear missile. It is insane, right? Really strong. So he's not only going to be strong in front of goal, he's also going to be strong in tension battles, right? Offensively and defensively. The same goes for a midfielder. I put midfielder in S because I don't think it's as strong as a striker. Why? I think as a striker, like, once you pop mix and match, you can actually just shoot a goal. Like, you just make a shot that you don't have to pass to anyone. Don't have to pass to my other strikers. I'm just gonna score a goal, right? So I think mix and match for a striker is really powerful. For a midfielder, when are you gonna use the move? Right, that's the thing. When are you gonna use the move? Probably never, right? If I take a look at my players, right? So I have an Arc. Right? I haven't given him anything yet, but he has cracked out. Look at this, bro. His stats are insane, like his boosts. But let's say I have a Bellatrix, right? I gave her Elemental Catalyst. She can also have a Keshin, also good. If I were to give her the mix and match, right? I'm gonna only have it for 20 seconds, right? And also, it's like I have 2 dribble moves already. I don't need a third one. So why would I need this, right? A caps lock. Thanks. Okay. Yeah. So these are my reasonings why this one is S and this one is broken. Okay. That was it. Yeah, we made it. It's a bit of a longer video, but I don't care. I just wanted to talk about it. Again, we're gonna take a look at this tier list once a week has passed, because tomorrow is going to be the update and we're just going to see how it goes. And yeah, perfect. Okay, if you agree, disagree, you can call me slurs, whatever, in the comments. Just let me know. Okay, see ya.